Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, is a name synonymous with beauty, power, and intrigue. Her life was a tapestry of complex decisions, some of which would cement her place in history, while others would ultimately lead to her downfall. In this exploration, we delve into the top 5 mistakes made by Cleopatra, which had far-reaching consequences and left an indelible mark on her legacy. Mistake number 1, her ill-fated relationship with Julius Caesar. Cleopatra's first major misstep was her ill-fated romance with Julius Caesar, one of Rome's most powerful and influential figures. At first glance, her association with Caesar seemed like a savvy political move. However, it would prove to be a double-edged sword. Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar began in 48 BC, when she arrived in Alexandria, Egypt, concealed in a rolled-up carpet, to meet the Roman general. The encounter was the start of a passionate love affair. She bore Caesar a son, Ptolemy XV Caesarion, and declared him her co-ruler. While the romantic liaison undoubtedly cemented her influence in Egypt, it did not sit well with many in Rome. Cleopatra's presence in Rome, coupled with her relationship with Caesar, stirred a political storm. It was perceived as a direct challenge to the Roman Republic's stability, and it led to further divisions in the Senate. Caesar's assassination in 44 BC left Cleopatra in a precarious position. Her fate became intertwined with the volatile politics of Rome. Her association with Caesar and the subsequent turmoil it caused in Rome marked the beginning of Cleopatra's complex and ultimately detrimental relationship with the Roman Empire. Mistake number 2, the ill-fated Battle of Actium. Cleopatra's second major blunder was her involvement in the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. This battle, one of the most consequential in ancient history, was a pivotal moment in her life. Cleopatra had aligned herself with Mark Antony, another powerful Roman general, in a bid to maintain her power and Egyptian autonomy. Their romantic involvement was renowned, but it was also a political gamble. Their alliance led to a conflict with Octavian, who would later become Emperor Augustus. The Battle of Actium was a catastrophic defeat for Cleopatra and Antony. Their combined naval forces were vanquished by Octavian's fleet. Cleopatra's decision to engage in the battle was a fatal error that would eventually lead to her downfall. The defeat at Actium marked a turning point in Cleopatra's life. She was forced to retreat to Egypt, and the alliance with Antony crumbled. The battle's outcome set the stage for Octavian's ultimate victory and the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Mistake number 3, her failure to secure an heir. Cleopatra's third major mistake was her failure to secure a clear and legitimate heir to the Egyptian throne. In a world where dynastic succession was paramount, her inability to establish a stable lineage weakened her position and the stability of her kingdom. Cleopatra had children with both Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, but the convoluted nature of her romantic entanglements and the political turmoil that followed left the legitimacy of her children in doubt. This created significant problems both in the eyes of the Romans and among some Egyptians. The absence of a clear heir to the throne sowed the seeds of discord and instability. When Cleopatra and Mark Antony faced defeat at the Battle of Actium, she was presented with a devastating ultimatum by Octavian: surrender and face his wrath, or take her own life. In a tragic turn of events, she chose the latter. Her death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, and Egypt fell under Roman control. Cleopatra's failure to secure a legitimate heir was a catastrophic oversight. Had she succeeded in establishing the lineage of her dynasty, it might have bolstered the kingdom's future and potentially altered the course of history. Mistake number 4, overemphasis on her divine status. Cleopatra's fourth significant mistake was her unwavering belief in her divine status. She considered herself to be a living goddess, a belief that carried both benefits and drawbacks. Like many rulers in the ancient world, Cleopatra used her divine status to consolidate power and maintain an aura of mystique around her rule. She often employed theatrical techniques to reinforce her divine image, appearing in public as the embodiment of the goddess Isis. While this portrayal endeared her to the Egyptian population, it was unsettling to the Romans. Rome, with its republican and later imperial system, did not have a place for rulers who claimed divine heritage. Cleopatra's emphasis on her divine status created misunderstandings and hostilities among influential Roman officials and allies. It further complicated her relationships with Rome, which played a pivotal role in her ultimate downfall. Cleopatra's divine image was both a source of her strength and a weakness. While it solidified her status as a beloved Egyptian ruler, it created a barrier between her and the Romans, who saw it as a challenge to their own system of governance. Mistake number 5, her inability to navigate shifting alliances. Cleopatra's fifth mistake was her inability to navigate the constantly shifting alliances and power dynamics of the ancient world. Her political acumen was undeniable, but she often made misjudgments that proved costly. One notable example was her initial support for Julius Caesar, followed by her strategic alliance with Mark Antony. While these choices allowed her to maintain control of Egypt, they drew the ire of other Roman factions and ultimately pitted her against Octavian, who would become the sole ruler of Rome. Cleopatra's shifting allegiances were driven by a desire to protect Egypt's autonomy and her own rule. However, these decisions often had unintended consequences. Her association with Julius Caesar led to his assassination and the ensuing chaos in Rome. Her partnership with Mark Antony led to the catastrophic Battle of Actium, and her decision to remain in Alexandria during the conflict contributed to their defeat. In each case, Cleopatra's alliances and decisions seemed rational in the context of her goals, but they failed to account for the broader consequences and the changing tides of Roman politics. Her inability to foresee the ultimate outcomes of her choices left her vulnerable to the shifting sands of power. In conclusion, Cleopatra's life was a mosaic of triumphs and tribulations. While she was undoubtedly a remarkable and influential figure, her mistakes played a central role in shaping her legacy. Her ill-fated romances with Caesar and Antony, her involvement in the Battle of Actium, her failure to secure a legitimate heir, her overemphasis on her divine status, and her struggles to navigate shifting alliances all left an indelible mark on her story. Cleopatra's legacy is a testament to the complex interplay of personal choices, political intrigue, and the enduring fascination of one of history's most enigmatic women. Subscribe to this channel for similar contents.